Hey there, let's talk about why movement moves emotions out of our body and why we want to do that in order to be healthy. Hi, I'm Beth Rowles. I'm a relationship coach. I help you use your current marriage as a feedback loop to grow in self awareness and begin to create the relationship you really want without leaving the one you're in. Part of our healing work is moving out old emotions so that when we are in different disagreements or issues with our spouse or others, we aren't pulled back into reactive patterns of behavior that don't serve us and seem to kind of come out of nowhere. If you ever want to see these in action, watch some reality TV and they will be on full display for you. So, in another video, I'll link it here. We talked about how emotions are stored in our body. If they are suppressed and not felt, they are energy that is stored in our body, particularly in our muscles and the fascia, which is like a webbing around our entire body. It's, from what I understand, it's like mostly made of collagen, and it's usually really well hydrated. But as those emotions come, it gets kind of dehydrated and stiff. And so, anyway, we can move the emotion out by tending to that area of our body or moving into different positions and other stuff that we'll talk about. So, one of the things that I think is kind of interesting, I found on a website called the Joyful Approach, a way to map your emotions. So they say that on your left side, based on the functions of your brain's hemisphere, your left side is receptive or yin. It responds to stimulus from your environment. It holds your experiences or past, your emotional self, your memories, and emotional joy or pain. I mean, they can be stored all over, but this is just an interesting breakdown of it. Your right side organizes and moves you forward into the future. It governs how you interact with the world. That is yang energy. And when you're experiencing problems on your right side, you may feel stuck or hampered in moving forward. Or you may be experiencing unwanted change that is causing fear, reluctance, or trepidation. Your front side reveals your social or public self, the part of you that the world sees. It reflects those aspects of yourself that are active ingredients in your day to day living. This includes communication, desire, caring, loving, happiness, and sadness. These show in your face, posture, and body language. And then it says your back side reflects private and unconscious elements of your life. This side becomes a storehouse for everything you don't want to deal with or don't want other people to see. Hidden or unexpressed feelings become frozen into the structure of your body. And that means that a lot of negative emotions become stored along your spine and in the backs of your legs. Most of your powerful emotions, such as anger and fear, are stored in your back. I think it's very interesting to notice where you feel energy or sensations when you begin to feel an emotion. And we'll talk about this in another video going into our chakra systems. But I've noticed that when I'm afraid, especially like if I think my kids are about to be hurt or something, or if I see somebody who's getting hurt or think they're about to get hurt, I feel it right at the base of my spine. And it makes sense because that's our root chakra and it deals with security and safety. So notice, pay attention to where you feel sensations. Another way to move emotions out of your body, especially old emotions and especially emotions related to trauma, is through a practice called somatic experiencing. This was developed by a trauma therapist, Peter Levine, I think is how you pronounce his name. Somatic experiencing practitioners will help you really hone into what you're actually feeling in your body and then just kind of gently follow it around. And if you're really in tune and trust what you're saying and trust the practitioner and feel like opening up, there will be messages in those. You'll start to realize that the tension in your jaw is related to something your mother did or didn't do when you were 5. You will be able to track these things as they move through your body and just kind of give them what they want and then they're released. So that's one way to do it. Of course, coaching or therapy can talk the emotions and help them move out of your body if you feel safe enough to do so. But a lot of the people that I work with are aren't even in their bodies, so it can be harder for them to experience emotions within the coaching practice itself, because they aren't ready to feel anything, and you actually have to bring that awareness into your body to feel. So those people really benefit from movement. Movement helps them get these emotions out of their body. So yoga is one of the best ones. Yoga is actually one of the, I can't remember where I read this, but it's the preferred treatment for anybody who's experienced trauma. One of the preferred treatments, because it puts you into difficult poses along with a soothing, calm, relaxed voice who's guiding you through it. And as you're in those poses, then you release the emotions and let the stuff go. Let the stuff go. So it's these habitual postures that yoga and emotional release yoga specifically seeks to gently massage out. We often assume certain postures when we feel something. When we feel optimistic and happy, our chest is open, our spine is upright. When we feel pessimistic, we usually round our back and kind of collapse our chest. When you feel certain emotions over and over and over, that posture solidifies and you create this solid structure of fascia that basically represents what you've been feeling over an extended period of time. This is true. There's actually different archetypes that they use in psychology, and they have drawings of people and what their posture is like. And that tells you a lot about what that person experienced and the way they behave and interact with the world. It's pretty fascinating, actually. And it was also alarming the first time I read it, because I'm like, oh my God, everybody knows what I've been through. But most people don't know. So there's a senior yoga instructor. I believe her name is Tenekayeva. And she says what happens in yoga is that when we start moving the body and stretching and rehydrating the fascia, the emotions that are stuck in the web of that collagenous tissue are released. She says, well, it's often something that you might only notice in yourself as you discreetly weep in a particularly deep hip opening asana. Sadness is stored in the hips. You can see it all. I guess she's seen it all in her years of teaching. I will see people laughing in the room or crying sometimes or getting really frustrated while doing a pose. And that's what's really happening. We are rehydrating fascia and we're changing that structure. And all of a sudden, the emotion pops up. And it's kind of interesting because you don't necessarily have to like move and massage a muscle to change it. Another way that you might trigger emotions that you don't even know are there are just in different poses and different situations. So I worked with a voice coach, Brand Hennessy. She's fantastic. And in one of our exercises one day, she wanted me to stand up. This was over video, and just speak to her. And just in the act of the standing in front of her, it triggered a bunch of stuff. A bunch of critical stuff from my family, and I actually froze and shut down and covered my face, and it was so crazy that that's what it took to trigger that experience to actually work through it and heal it. And I'm very glad it happened with her and not while I was like on a stage with thousands of people staring at me. But it's not always talk that will get you there. It's not always your husband that will get you there. It can be just different positions and scenarios that you get put in that then trigger these old things. And it may feel like they come out of nowhere. And this is why, because they're all stored in your body and want to be let go of. Dr. Berman in her book, Quantum Love, says that illness, aches, pains, and afflictions are the body's way of knocking on the door of our consciousness, and it will keep knocking louder and louder until we answer the call of our essential selves. So these experiences and emotions are with us all the time, and the more we can move them out of the body, the more we can stay present in the moment and what's happening right now. In another video, I talk about what the emotions do if you ignore them, how they cause illness and cancer and pain and aches and all kinds of things. So we want to move them out. So if you don't like exercise, maybe another way to look at it is just an opportunity to release what's no longer serving you. Rather than thinking about burning calories and burning fat, you're burning old emotional energy. So do soothing movements, these yoga stretches and the difficult poses. Really get into all those different muscles and allow those things to be set free. I hope that helps. I'd love to chat with you. Please send me a message or comment below. Visit my website, bethrowles.com, if you're interested in learning more about yourself so you can take control of your life and relationships. I want to hear from you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you more. And thanks for watching. Bye.